Hello, welcome students once again. Today we will start a new chapter, that is refraction of light at plane surface. So here we can see a new term, refraction. So what is refraction? Before that, the word refraction doesn't sound and look very much similar to some particular word that you have already studied and learned in class 9. Yes, refraction sounds and looks very much similar to the word reflection that you have already studied and learned in class 9. So this reflection and refraction, all these are the properties of light. So in class 9, what did we learn about reflection? We learned that reflection is when light, while traveling through a medium, after striking a surface, then it bounces back, means returns back to the same medium by changing its direction. It is reflection, which generally takes place in any polished surface, isn't it? Any shiny or glossy surface, that is on plane mirror, any polished or any glossy shine floor, water surface, rest or unrest. So all these, okay, generally reflection means light bounces back. But the question is, does the entire amount of light returns back to the same surface in case of reflection? It depends on the shyness, polishedness of the surface. That is how much amount of light will return back to the same medium through reflection. Depends on the shyness. More polished, the surface, more polished and more shine will be the surface, more will be the amount of returning light. More amount of light will be returned or bounce back to the surface. Clear? In case of, it means if the surface is highly polished and highly silver, then we may assume that maximum 10% light is generally we will get maximum 10% of light we will get as the reflected light or returns back. Generally, in case of a plane mirror, it is considered that we may assume maximum portion of light is generally bounced back to the same medium. Okay, but the question is, if the polishedness or the shyness of the surface reduces, it means if the transparency of the medium increases, then in that case what happens? What happens when light generally strikes or falls incident on rest water surface, on rest clean water surface? Then does all the amount of light return back to the same medium? No, isn't it? You can see, suppose this is the example of the reflection. You can see 95% of light is returned back, bounced back to the same medium, not 100%, because we have already seen through so many examples that in our practical life it is not possible to achieve anything as 100%. Just like in pulley, mechanical advantage efficiency is less than 100%. Any conductor cannot be produced, it is impossible to produce any conductor of zero resistance, massless body. So like all these. So you can see 95% of light is reflected, assuming this, the shyness is high. Okay, this is high. The surface is shine at very highest product. But if 95% light is reflected, then what about 5%? What about where does the 5% light go? Does it vanish? No. So what will happen? And again imagine, since 95% light is reflected, so we can assume this surface as highly polished, isn't it? And highly silvered, isn't it? Comparatively, so that because maximum light is generally returned back as reflected light. But the question is, if the medium is going to be transparent, then the amount of the reflected light will reduce. It may be in that case 50% or 60% light. If we take a transparent glass here, then what would happen? Will we get 95% of light as reflected light? No, it will be reduced. Percentage will be reduced. It may be 60% or 50%. Then the question is where? What will be the direction? Where will the rest amount of light will go? The answer of this question is the refraction. The incident through which it happens is called refraction. It means more will be polished and silvered on the surface, the amount of the reflected light will be increased, whereas rest amount of light going through anywhere else. I am talking about anywhere else, assuming we don't know what is reflection light. We will move in any other medium. Okay. But if its shyness or polishness reduces, means its transparency increases, then the amount of the returning light, that is reflected light, will be reduced gradually, and it means the amount of the light returning back to the medium will reduce. Then the rest amount of light will go somewhere elsewhere. It will move to the second surface, in the second medium, isn't it? Which actually happens in case of incident of light on clean water surface, on a transparent glass surface, isn't it? If light strikes, obviously, since mirror is a very silver surface, is absorb 5% amount of light. Maximum amount of light is generally reflected. But if the surface is like a shiny glass, isn't it? A broken piece of glass. If we take a broken piece of air, but if we insert a thin glass, broken piece of glass, isn't it? Then what would happen? The maximum light will just enter in the next medium without returning back. In few amount of light, few percent of light will just reflect back. Maximum amount of light will just enter in the second medium. This is called diffraction. So diffraction means change in medium. Unlike reflection, in case of reflection, maximum amount of light generally bounces back to the same medium. Again, it depends on the shyness of the medium. More will be the polished and the shyness of the medium, more light will bounce back as a reflected light. Less amount of light will enter in the second medium. But if the shyness is going to be reduced, means transparency is increases, then opposite thing happens. Less amount of light will return back, whereas maximum amount of light will generally enter in the second medium. So this is refraction. So how can we define diffraction? It means while traveling in a medium, when light while traveling in a medium changes in another medium. It means when it changes its medium, it may or may not change its direction. Okay, keep this word in mind. Diffraction doesn't mean the change in direction. Change in direction may take place or may not. What is the mandatory point? The basic and the essential point in case of diffraction is that light has to change medium. You can see. So suppose in this case, it may be here it is 95%, it may be, for an example I have just shown it. Suppose this is 60 or 90%, 60% or 70%, clear? Okay, so this is, it happens in case of highly polished or shiny surface. Maximum light is generally reflected. Now suppose the polishedness or shyness of the surface on which light strikes is reduced and its transparency increases. Then we may assume it is 60%, isn't it? It is 60% and it is 40%. Assume this is 60% and this is 40%. So 40% light enters, 40% of light enters in the second medium, this medium, by changing its medium, and 60% reflected. And if the transparency increases, then the amount of the light, the entering of the amount of light which will enter in the second medium will be increased and the amount of reflected light will be decreased. Very simple. Now, what will be the direction of this changing, of the light which enters in the second medium? You can see which has been shown by 3 dots. Okay. Now its direction can be of 3 types, isn't it? It may move towards the normal or away from normal, or it may pass undeviatedly. Very clear. This is diffraction. So diffraction means change in medium. So since the diffraction, as I already said, which I just forget to tell, generally I say the significance and the meaning of every word is generally hidden inside it. Now diffraction, it means fraction of light. When fraction of light during reflection enters into another medium, then it is called, so that's why its name is refraction, isn't it? Fraction of light. Since initially at first we have learned about reflection in class 9 and then we are learning diffraction. So in case of reflection, when fraction amount of light instead of bouncing back enters into the second medium, so that's why it is called diffraction. Now how we can treat it as maximum diffraction if the entering in the amount of the light which entered into the second medium. It means if the amount of fraction of light increases, isn't it? Few fraction of light enters, then we may consider it as reflection. We can ignore the reflection. But if the medium is transparent, then we can say the amount of fraction of light, the amount of fraction increases. The value of the fraction increases, then reflection is generally we can ignore and we can take as reflection. So since fraction of light enters into the second medium during reflection, so that's why its name is refraction. Okay. So now I am talking about the direction of the light, which enters into the second medium while changing the medium. So how can it be decided? It is generally decided on the optical density of the two mediums. Optical density, the word optical related to light, isn't it? So how it can be decided? Whether when the light will change its medium and enter into the second medium. Since it is refraction, so the light, it is called refracted ray or refracted light. So it may move away from normally, which is normal, move towards or undeviated. It depends on the optical density, not normal density. Normal density is a different thing. Okay, it is how heaviness, mass per unit volume. It depends on optical density. Now, what is optical density? Optical density means So optical density. So optical density means one is called rarer medium and one is called denser medium. If the velocity of light, the optical density, based on optical density, medium is generally are of two types. One is optically denser medium, one is called optically rarer medium. Okay. What do you mean by optically denser? Since it is optical, it's related to light. So what do you mean by optically denser medium and what is optically rarer medium? If it depends on the basis of the speed of light. Speed or velocity. If the speed or velocity of light in a medium decreases, then it is called optically denser medium. Clear? And if the velocity of light or speed of light in a medium increases, it is called optically rarer medium. Clear? So we may assume that is optically denser medium is like a traffic jam, whereas optically rarer medium is an empty road. Okay. More clearly, okay. In later we are just going to explain it more vividly. Okay. So now we have just considered three. You can see there are three directions of light: moving away, moving towards the normal, or undeviated. So that's why there are three diagrams based on the direction of the light while entering in the second medium. In which direction light may go? Towards, away, or undeviated. That's why the three diagrams. So optically denser. So suppose in the first case, light is entering from air to oil or water, air to oil or air to water or air to glass. Now it is the optically rarer medium. What do you mean by optically rarer medium? As I already said, the medium, if in any medium, the velocity or speed of light increases, it is called optically rarer medium. Rarer means something loose. You may assume it. Just like loose, very light medium. Very light. It does not relate it to weight. But for simplicity of your understanding, so that you can understand very easily, so that's why you will have to think like this. Rarer means very empty road. The traffic, it is not a crowded place, it's not a crowded road, it's an empty road. Okay. So it's rarer, not as crowded, road is empty road, very few people on the road. Okay. That is rarer medium. What is optically denser medium? Optically denser means very traffic jam. Okay. You can just imagine just like a market. So what will happen when light will enter from rarer to denser medium? Suppose light is at first incident on the air. So this is the first medium. Do not forget the medium from which it is entering. This is 1, this is medium number 1, and this is 2. Medium 1, medium 2, medium 1, medium 2. Clear? So this is medium 1 and medium 2. So it means when light is incident, when light is traveling from air to oil, water or glass. Air to oil, you may take air to water, air to glass. So since it is entering from a rarer medium to denser medium, you can see the direction of the refracted ray. Here the refracted ray moves or bends towards the normal. Why? Since the speed of light in this case decreases. How can you understand it? As I always do, I generally mention some examples. Imagine at first you are on an empty road. Suppose you are driving a car on an empty road. So you will be at your top speed. Now suddenly you face a traffic jam, or even from an empty road you enter into a market. Then obviously you will have to slow down your car. So you move towards the normal. It's just like from entering a dry empty road to a muddy road. Obviously in this case what will happen? You may test it. The front wheel towards the right side automatically moves towards this side. So it means when light enters from rarer medium to denser medium, its velocity, it's the refracted ray will just bend towards the normal. Why? Because the velocity of light in denser medium decreases. Clear? Because the medium in which the velocity of light increases is called optically rarer medium. The medium in which the speed of light decreases, the light slows down, is called optically denser medium. So while light traveling from rarer to denser medium, any rarer to any denser, in this case if light travels from water to glass, water is optically rarer with respect to glass. So if we take water as first medium, we may take glass as second medium. So the medium in which light will travel, the velocity of light will increase. Rarer medium, isn't it? Less traffic. Whereas the medium in which the velocity of light decreases, huge traffic, denser medium. So always remember, when light enters from rarer to denser medium, the velocity of light since decreases, so the refracted ray moves towards the normal. Opposite thing happens. You can just twist, you can just reverse the image, isn't it? Invert the image, this way you will form, isn't it? Exactly, if we reverse the image upside down, isn't it? Invert the image, reverse, it will take this form. Now, what if light travels from denser to rarer medium? It means from here to there, from oil to air, water to air, or glass to air, or from glass to water. Isn't it? What will happen? It is same case. Just like after driving car through a very huge traffic, or in a market, suddenly you reaches after an empty highway road, national highway road. Then you will speed up, you will not stop speed, isn't it? Exactly this happens. So light at first was in the denser medium, it means it was moving with slow speed. It means you were just driving the car very slowly. After clearing or removing of the traffic, suddenly you reached another national highway, empty road. Then what would happen? You will just, fly your car at the speed of light, isn't it? Don't speed of light. So the velocity of the light will increase, so it will move away. It is just opposite. From dry road to the muddy road, the front wheel of the car towards the right side moves towards the muddy. Whereas in case of muddy, isn't it? From muddy road to dry road, automatically just move away. The wheel of the left side of front side will automatically take in this case. So okay. So this is very easy, isn't it? Another example, there is also another funny example. Generally I cannot stop myself from mentioning funny example. So this instead of the driving car, instead of the example of the driving of the car in a traffic or in a national highway, we may also cite a very funny example. Suppose from rarer to denser medium. Suppose a mad dog is running after you, isn't it? In a road, empty road. So you will run at your top speed. Then suddenly you see there is a pond, isn't it? A pond or river. So what will you do? Obviously you will jump into the pond. But as soon as you will jump into the pond, your velocity will obviously decrease. You cannot run as fast as you were running in road. So obviously your speed will decrease and you will, so this is the decrease of speed. What will happen in case of the opposite thing? When will you move? Suppose you are in the water. Suddenly you have seen a crocodile. Opposite thing happens. So you will just swim at your top speed to save yourself. Obviously everybody will do this. So you are swimming, you are enjoying swimming in the river or the pond or whatsoever. Suddenly in the river, and you faced a crocodile. So you will just try to reach to the bank. Then after reaching the bank, you will just, now in that case you will just fly. So in that case, when you reach from water to road, your speed will increase. So in this way, through this example, you will have to remember. Clear? Third thing, so moving towards the normal, moving away from the normal is clear. Third case, light may travel undeviated, as I said, because refraction doesn't mean change in direction. In these two cases, change in direction. But what did I say? I said refraction, the vital condition for refraction means change in medium. Look at this. Light passes undeviated. This is neither from denser to rarer or rarer to denser. Means denser, rarer. Both medium are same. If both medium are the same. Suppose in this medium, air is inside the room. Now if I take a broken piece of glass, transparent glass, what would happen? Light from that bulb will enter and then it will pass undeviatedly. Why? Because above this broken glass it is air, down below is also air. So both medium are same. So it means since both medium are same, so obviously the light is going to move with the same velocity. It has to be thin. If it is thick, then inside there will be refraction. From rarer to denser it will bend towards, then away. Then the incident and the emergent ray will be parallel, which we will discuss in the next video. If this is thin block, so light will pass undeviatedly, as you can see. There is no change in direction, but it is refraction for normal incidence. This is the second case. So this is the first case. So light, in case of refraction, light may pass undeviatedly into the second medium, means without changing its direction. How? Two conditions. Number one, already I showed, that is, if the two medium are same. Number two, if light is incident on the surface or strike the surface normally, that is, angle of incidence is 0, then obviously it will pass undeviatedly, and it will enter in the second medium and passes undeviatedly. So these are the two conditions for getting undeviated rays in case of refraction. First case, both medium has to be same. Since mediums are same, so velocity of light will be same, and light if incident normally, it is called refraction for normal incidence. That's why during explaining of refraction, initially I told refraction doesn't mean change in direction. In this case, now see, is there any change of direction of the emergent light in the second medium? No, but media is changed. Light is already changed its medium, but after all, it is refraction. In so many textbooks, you may see that is the change in direction of light from one medium to another is called refraction. No, this is not appropriate definition. Appropriate definition is change in medium. Medium has to be changed. Refraction means change in medium, because change in medium cannot be reflection. Refraction means change in medium. Direction may change or may not be changed. Clear? So this is refraction, means when light, while traveling from one medium, it enters into the second medium. Direction may change or may not change. So optically denser and optically rarer medium, you have understood. Now what would happen in case of oil and water? I just want to mention this example, oil and water. Suppose, water, oil, we all know, if we take some water on a container and if we spread some drop of oil on it, oil is generally floats over water. But if light enters, if we take one medium, first medium water and then oil, we will get exactly this picture. It means water will behave as an optically rarer medium, whereas oil, any kind of oil, is generally behave as an optically denser medium. So oil is behaving as denser medium. Isn't it strange? Because if we spread some drop of oil over water, it floats instead of sinking. Why? Because the density of oil is less than that of water. But what did I say about it? It is not optical density, it is normal density, mass per unit volume. The density which we generally use in our life, isn't it? That's called normal density. Means it enables us to understand the concept of heaviness. How heavy or how light one thing is. The density of an iron ball is more. Means Density more means it's heavy, mass per unit volume. How much does it contain in unit volume? Okay, and a plastic ball is less dense. It's the density of a plastic ball is less because it is less heavier, means lighter. But optical density is not like that. What is optical density? It depends on the velocity of light, isn't it? If velocity of light in a medium increases, it is called optically rarer medium or light medium, we may assume. Or if the velocity of light in any medium decreases, it generally it is considered as optically denser medium. Huge traffic, as I always say. Always remember, denser means huge traffic, crowded place, crowded road. You cannot drive your car, your bicycle or your bike as fast. This is optically denser. Optically rarer, empty road. You can speed up your car. Very easy. So, in spite of oil floats on water, but in case of refraction, when light travels from water to oil, the refracted ray moves towards the normal, because in case of refraction of light, water is optically rarer medium, whereas oil is optically denser medium, because the velocity of light in water is more as compared to that of in oil. It means the velocity of light in oil decreases, it slows down. When it was traveling in water, it was moving with a particular velocity, suppose 100 meters per second. But as soon as it will enter into the oil, its velocity will decrease 60 or 70. It means decrease somehow. So the normal density of water is less than that of normal density of water. That's why oil floats on water. But in case of the phenomenon of light, that is refraction of light, oil is optically denser medium, because the velocity of light slows down, decreases inside oil, whereas water is greater than that of oil. So that's why when light travels from air, as from water to oil, in spite of having the general density or normal density of oil is less than that of water, right, the speed of light decreases and moves towards the normal. Opposite thing happens if it's from oil to water. This picture, okay. So I think you have understood. So this is optically denser and optical rarer medium. Okay. Now how does this refraction of light affects some things, that is the velocity of light, as we have already learned. It affects on the velocity of light. It means if light travels from rarer to rarer, enters from rarer to denser medium, velocity will decrease. And if light enters from denser to rarer medium, its velocity will increase. Okay. Number one. Number two is frequency. Frequency is not going to be changed. Frequency is always remain unchanged, since it is generated from at the source. Source is always unchanged. Okay. It is just like surname of everybody's surname. Surname is not going to be changed. It is the family network. My surname is Banerjee. Why? Because my father's surname is Banerjee. My grandfather's surname was Banerjee. Forefather was Banerjee. Okay. My daughter's surname is Banerjee. Okay. Now if anybody now, it means it will be just like family network. Banerjee. So this is the frequency. It will just go like legacy to legacy. Clear? So the surname is never going to be changed, isn't it? Always, isn't it? From fathers, isn't it? Everybody generally gets the surname of his father, basically. So frequency is just like that. It is not going to be changed. So number one, velocity changes, frequency. Number three, wavelength. The refraction of light also changes wavelength. How? Okay. V is proportional to lambda, isn't it? So what will happen when light travels from rarer to denser medium? At first we will try to understand through V, then we will just establish same relation with lambda. When light travels from rarer to denser medium, since denser medium, it's a very easy example, isn't it? Rarer, empty road, you have reached into denser medium, traffic jam, market, you will have automatically your speed, the velocity of your car will decreases. Since velocity decreases, velocity will slows down, velocity decrease. Since velocity is directly proportional to lambda, that is wavelength, since V equals to f lambda, already we have learned in class 9. So since velocity is directly proportional to lambda, so which will be the result in case of V? Same result we will get in case of lambda. V increases, lambda increases, V decreases, lambda decreases. So since when light will travel from rarer to denser medium, velocity is going to be decreased, so wavelength is also going to decrease. In case of traveling of light, journey of light from denser to rarer medium, velocity will increase. From market to MP road, national highway, velocity increase. So obviously lambda will be also increase. Clear? Okay. So now moves on to laws of refraction. In case of reflection, we also read two laws. It also, in case of refraction, it also contains two laws. First law is very much similar, isn't it? Very much similar to reflection, but only in that case the only difference is that there was reflection and here it was refraction. Reflected ray, here it will be refracted ray, everything. Okay. So first law is very simple. You may see from your textbook that the incident ray, the refracted ray, and the normal at the point of incidence will always lie in the same plane. How? Very clear. See the board. It is the same plane, isn't it? If light, you can see light is coming. Light is incident from that side. It is incident on the board, reflected. And if we take a glass plate here, a transparent glass plate, what will happen? Light will come here, light will incident, light will fall on this, then refracted through the surface, normal will be. So whatever is happening, everything is happening in the same surface, same plane. So that's why it is the application of the first. Very easy. Incident ray, reflected ray, or reflected, both are same. Whatever is happening on the same plane. Number two, you can see this is the 2. This is another name which is called Snell's law. Very important. Okay. That is the ratio of the sine of angle. The ratio of the angle of incidence. The ratio of sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of the refraction is a constant. Very clear. The ratio of sine of angle. Angle of the sine of angle of incidence to sine of angle of refraction. This is angle of incidence. This is angle of refraction. You can see. This is greater, this is less, this is less, this is greater. So the ratio of sine of the angle of incidence to the sine of the angle of the refraction is a constant. Why sine, not constant? Because Snell's already did this. This is experimentally proved by taking so many ratios, cos, tan, cosec. He didn't get the constant. Okay, maybe by only taking the sine ratio, isn't it? He got the constant. It is constant. It is called mu, M-E-W. Okay. The what can I say? It is the what can I say? It is the sound of the cat. You can easily remember mu, sound of cat. This is mu, basically mu, but generally it is denoted, indicated as 1 mu 2. What does it mean? Mu 2 by mu 1. What is 2? 2 is the second medium, 1 is the first medium. Clear? Now if light travels from air to glass, first side will be the first medium, towards the right side it will be second medium. So mu g by mu a. Clear? Mu g by mu a. It means it is called the refractive index. It is called refractive index. Since related to refraction, so that's why it is refractive. Index means, since it means index means, so it clearly indicates that it will indicate something. Since it is index, so obviously each and every always index. If anything is index always indicates something. So which it will indicate? What does it indicate? We will see here. So this constant, the ratio of the sine of the angle of the incidence to sine of the angle of the refraction is always a constant value, which is called mu or more mu 2 by mu 1. That is refractive index of the second medium with respect to first medium in comparison to first. Now look the manner, style of his writing. Mu, left side is the first medium, right side is the second medium. Very easy. Right side up, left side down. Refractive index of the second medium divided by refractive index of the first medium. So at the numerator, always will be second medium. Since it is higher, how will you remember? Greater. Isn't it? Great value will be always towards right side. Less value will be towards left side. Greater value will be towards the right. At the numerator, lesser value. 2, 1. It's not 1, 2. If it is 2 mu 1, then it will be mu 1 by mu 2. Clear? Now, so the light, so which medium will we take first? The medium in which light will enter first. We have air first, it is second. Okay. So here, so this is mu, this is 1, you can see 1. This is called Snell's law. This particular law is called Snell's law. Number 2, this is called Snell's law. This law, the sin I by sin I equals to constant, that is mu 2 by mu 1 or refractive index of the second medium with respect to first. As I said, if it is 2 mu 1 reverse, it will be always reverse. So 1 mu 2 by mu 1, always remember. This is called particular law, is called Snell's law. Now, why have I written 1 and 2? This is because of the refractive index. Now, refractive index, the expression of refractive index we have got through 1, because that is sin I by sin A. Mu can be represented also, mu can also be represented by some another expression. You can see, look here, isn't it? Mu. So, mu is equal to speed of light in vacuum, that is in free space, divided by speed of light in that medium. That medium means given medium. If we say that is mu, refractive index of glass, so here it will be glass. If it is water, water. At the numerator, it will always be speed of light in vacuum. Numerator will be always vacuum. If we talk about refractive index of any medium, numerator will be always speed of light in free space, that is vacuum. Denominator will be, in the denominator will be the velocity of light in that medium in which we are talking about. If we talk about refractive index of glass, at the denominator it will be speed of light in glass. If it is water, water. So it is C by V, we always know. C is equal to velocity of light in vacuum, that is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, and V is the respective velocity of that given medium which we talk about. Okay. Now we will try to find out mu through another, okay, a new form, another form of mu. First, so how can we express mu? According to Snell's law, it is sin I by sin A. It is one form of expression. Another form, taking the help of this equation, C by V. You can see. Now mu 2 by mu 1 equals to A mu G. Since A is the air, G is the glass, look, we are considering this diagram. Air was the first medium, glass is the second medium. Just compare with this, very easy, 1 mu 2. Mu 2 by mu glass, just compare, yes, glass is second medium, yes, glass. Now, we will try to determine, put this, okay, we will just use this equation, C by V. Now, we are talking about, what do we say, isn't it? That is, isn't it, mu G. That is refractive index of glass, isn't it? What is its definition? Speed of light in vacuum, C, obviously C. Then by the speed of light in that medium, given medium. What is the given medium? Glass. Why have I written V2? Look at this. Glass is in the second medium. Here glass is second medium. So that's why it is V2. Very clear. Now divided by refractive index of air. Again speed of light in vacuum, C. C. Then again speed of light in that medium or the medium about which we are talking. Isn't it? That is V. We are talking about air, V1. Why V1? Air is in air, first medium, V1. Now CC will cancel, obviously. CC will cancel. So now V1 by V2. So we have got a new expression of mu. That is mu 2 by mu 1 equals to V1 by V2. It is refractive index of second medium with respect to the refractive index of the first medium equals to velocity of light in the first medium divided by velocity of light in the second medium. Isn't it? Velocity of the medium, velocity of light, V1 is the first medium, V2 is second medium. So we have got two expressions of mu, mathematical expression. What is mu? That is mu 2 by mu 1, refractive index of the second medium with respect to first medium equals to angle of incidence, sine of angle of incidence in the first medium divided by sine of angle of refraction in the second medium. Number 2, again mu 2 by mu 1, that is refractive index of second medium with respect to refractive index of first medium equals to velocity of light in first medium divided by velocity of light in the second medium, V1 by V2. Important equations are generally, okay, are boxed. What is V1? You can see, I have already written speed of light in first medium, speed of light in second medium. So from this we can determine, find out the relation between the refractive index and the velocity of light, that is mu varies as 1 by v. Inversely proportional. Why? Look at the expression. Mu 2 by mu 1 equals to v1 by v2. 2 by 1 equals to 1 by 2. So it's obviously nothing but inversely proportional. It cannot be direct proportional. If this side were 2 by 1, so 2 by 1 equals to 2 by 1, then it would be direct proportional. But it is inverse. 2 by 1, 1 by 2. That is, it is inversely proportional. Then again, from this relation we can easily relate. We can establish the relation between mu and with mu, that is aperture, wavelength. Clear? Since b equals to f lambda, b is directly proportional to lambda, isn't it? So mu is also inversely proportional to lambda. Mu is also inversely proportional to t. Why? So one thing we have learned: if velocity increases, mu is less. isn't it? Mu increase, isn't it? Sorry, it is mu increase, it will be rarer, is it? Sorry, it is okay. Mu increase, it is D. Obviously it will be D. I was talking about. If mu increases, what do I say? Mu increases means density. Okay, it means it is denser medium, huge traffic. Okay, obviously in those cases. So refractive index is inversely proportional to velocity. If velocity increases, mu will decrease. So where velocity will increase? Velocity increases where? In case of rarer medium, isn't it? From here we can establish the relation from this relation. Mu varies as 1 by b. Very clear. 2 by 1 equals to 1 by 2. So if velocity of light increases, if velocity is more, mu is less, inversely proportional. If mu is less, if v is less, mu is more. Now we were taking v is more. The velocity is more. In which medium? The velocity of light is more. Rarer medium. Rarer medium. In rarer medium, velocity is more, isn't it? Empty road, so velocity increases. So in rarer medium, velocity increases, but refractive index, what? Refractive index decreases. So that's why mu decreases. It means rarer medium. Mu decreases, mu increases. Mu means density, isn't it? Traffic. Mu means traffic, isn't it? So if traffic increases, means mu also increases. Traffic decreases, mu decreases. Why? If traffic decreases, it means there is not at all crowded place. Road is empty, so you can increase the velocity. You can ride your car or vehicle at topmost speed. Clear? So I think it is clear. Velocity is more, refractive index is less. So in which medium velocity is more? Rarer medium. How? Because there is not amount of traffic there. So mu is decreases. So mu means it will create optical density. Again, if velocity decreases, mu increases. In which medium velocity decreases? Denser medium. Why? As I already told, isn't it? When there is a huge traffic in market, you cannot ride your car so fast. So velocity will decrease. So if velocity decrease means mu increase, and it happens only in denser medium. So always remember that mu means traffic. More mu, more traffic. Isn't it? Very easy. Mu, optical density, isn't it? If optical density increases, isn't it? Mu will increase, velocity decrease. If optical density decreases, mu decreases, speed will rise. Very easy. So mu indicates the amount of traffic. If the amount of traffic, if the road is crowded, traffic is more, you cannot speed up your car, velocity slows down, mu will be more. And if there is less traffic, you can go with a higher velocity, when mu decreases. So mu increase in case of denser medium, mu decrease in case of rarer medium. Then how mu is related to lambda? Since mu is inversely proportional to v is directly proportional to wavelength, so mu is also inversely proportional to lambda. What is T's temperature? How it is related to temperature? Inversely, because if temperature increases means the medium becomes lighter. Warm, so expands, so lighter means you can just assume it as optical rarer. Velocity increases, or that is mu is inversely proportional to T. More will be temperature, less will be mu, and less will be temperature, more will be mu. It means if temperature is less means it is cold, it is dense, isn't it? It is denser medium, you can say, compact medium. So you cannot. It is the temperature is less. We may assume it instead of, it means it is not hot, it is cold. It means density is more. We have to assume it. Compact molecules, you cannot go through that molecules, means traffic jam. It means optical density is more, mu is more, isn't it? If T is more means the temperature increases. If the temperature medium increases, it will expand, the molecules will lose, you will get so much gap, and you can easily speed up your car. It means it is optically rarer medium, mu is less. Clear? So from this relation, so as I told, okay, during mentioning the refractive index, it indicates something. So what does it indicate? we can see from this example. What does it indicate? Let's say that is mu glass is equal to a mu g, c by vg. Very clear. Mu glass, as I said, c velocity of light in vacuum and v by g. We all know that the velocity of light in vacuum is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, whereas velocity of light in glass is 2 into 10 to the power 8. Calculating, we got 1.5. So clearly from this we can see c by vg equals to 1.5. So c equals to 1.5 into vg. What does it indicate? From this we can get an alternate definition of refractive index. That is, we can easily say velocity of light in vacuum is 1.5 times velocity of light in glass, isn't it? In case of water, a mu g, a mu w, c divided by vw according to this equation. At the numerator there will be always velocity of light, and in the denominator it will be the velocity of light in the given medium. So vw, velocity of light is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, whereas velocity of light in water is 2.25 into 10 to the power 8. If we calculate, we will get 1.33. Again, it indicates velocity of light equals to 1.33 times velocity of light in water. So from these two equations, how can we define the mu? Isn't it? From you can see the velocity of light is 1.5 times greater than that of velocity of light in glass, whereas here velocity of light in vacuum is 1.33 times greater than that of velocity of light in water. It means mu indicates that how fast light travels in vacuum with respect to any medium, isn't it? Mu equals to c by v. So from here we can easily write c is equal to mu v. Clear, isn't it? C equals to mu v. C equals to mu v. Clear? So how much times v into mu or mu into v into mu? If mu have a value 3, 3v, mu is 4v, as you can see. So what does mu indicate? It indicates that how fast light can travel in vacuum with respect to the medium. How fast? 1.33 times faster. Since mu water is 1.33, here you can see what is the refractive index of glass, 1.5. Then what is the speed of light? 1.5 times velocity of light in glass, isn't it? So doesn't it indicate that velocity of light in vacuum travels 1.5 times faster than that of velocity of glass? Here, what does mu indicate? Look at the value of mu, 1.33. So here it also indicates that velocity of light travels 1.33 times faster than velocity of light in water. So very easy. Mu c is equal to mu into v, isn't it? So it means there are, what can I say? There are three different types of definition of mu. That is, it is the ratio between the sine of the angle of the incidence of first medium to sine of angle of refraction of the second medium, number 1. Number 2, it is the ratio between speed of light in vacuum divided by speed of light in the given medium. Or number 3, mu. What is mu? Which indicates how much faster light travels in vacuum in comparison to other medium. Or conversely, we can say how slow light can travel, or how slow light travels in a given medium with respect to vacuum. That is, now if you find out Vg, 1 by 1.5 into c, that is 1 by 1.5 times less. Vw equals to 1 by 1.33 into c, that is 1.33 times less than speed of light of c. That's why it is called refractive index. It is index because it indicates that how fast light travels in vacuum with respect to any given medium, isn't it? So that is refractive index. Clear? It was a lengthy discussion. It was very important. Okay, and I hope you have understood. Okay, so that's all for refraction of light at plane surface. Okay, and meet you in next video.